So, often when we think about triads, we think of 3 notes clustered together to give you a chord. Which is correct, but what if I told you that wasn't the whole story? Because in this video, we will take you from this to this. Triads are a very useful tool in a musician's arsenal, as it can refresh the same chord by making inversions of that chord. Don't worry, we'll go into this later in the video. That use of triad inversions can give you more ways to entice a listener to your playing. For now though, we should get into what a triad actually is. A triad is 3 notes together that consist of a root, a third, and a fifth. This probably won't mean much to you if you don't have much music theory knowledge. So here is a very brief recap of the major scale theory. In the major scale we have 7 notes. Let's take the key of C as everyone does because it's easy to grasp. In C we have the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B and back to C. Each of them has a respective number value. So C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, and B is 7. That's as far as you need to know in terms of major scale theory when it comes to triads. What we are doing to get these triads is to build them from the root and then go to the 3rd note and then the 5th note. Building in this fashion is called stacking thirds. This is because at every point of the major scale we're moving up by 3 notes to get the next note until we create a triad. Stacking these thirds in this way generates what we call as tertiary harmony, i.e. harmony with thirds stacked on top of each other. I thought I'd mention this terminology just in case you hear it being bantered around. You can go, ah, yes, you mean stacking thirds. This is how you build triads, but we should be asking the important questions about triads. What is the most important question about a triad? Do you know? And if you do, please put it in the comment section below. So that's right, it's tonality. And in this case, we have to understand what the third is doing to know what the tonality is in any given setting. The third is the most important note as it defines what the tonality in the triad is. If the third is flattened, then we get minor. If the third is normal, then we get major. This is really important to understand because it can help your playing and vocabulary for your improvisation and general playing drastically. Knowing your major and minor triads is a huge step in knowing how to improvise over chord changes. We'll go over that later in this video. For now, let's look at... So far, we've only discussed major triads. And minor triads. But that isn't all there is to know in terms of what kinds of triads there are. The most commonly used triads that aren't major or minor are as follows. Let's start with the diminished triad. With the diminished triads we have the root, flattened third and flattened fifth, giving you a very dissonant sound. And then there's the augmented triad, which starts with a root, a major third, and sharpened fifth, which gives you an angular sound. Now we have an understanding of the most commonly used triads, we can move on to the next topic. With the diminished triads, we have the root, a major third, and sharpened fifth, which starts with a root, a major third, and sharpened fifth, which gives you an angular sound. Now we have an understanding of the most commonly used triads, we can move on to the next topic. Inversions are really cool sound-wise, as this is how I mentioned earlier that you can refresh your chords to sound similar but not the same. What inversions do is allow you to play the same chord, but you're transferring one of the notes in that triad into the bass. Let's say I take the C major triad, which consists of the notes C, E, and G. This is also referred to as root position. But if I invert it with the next note along, with the E in the bass, it becomes E, G, C, or first inversion. The reason why it's called first inversion is because it's the first note away from the root that's been put into the bass. So from there, you've guessed it, we'll be moving into the second inversion, which means you move over to the next note, which is going to be G, and you put that into the bass, giving you G, C, E. I think it's really useful on the guitar to see them in sequence, so here it is. Because the minor triad is one note away, here are the minor versions too. It may take you some time to get used to using triads, but it's something that you should be practicing quite frequently as it opens you up to lots of different types of music. You should be striving to make them second nature, as the next step shows you how to turn them from a standard chord progression into more like of a triadic adventure. Let's take a common chord progression, say 1, 6, 4, 5 in the key of C, and this is what it looks like in the open position. Now, if we add the knowledge that I previously introduced you to, we can start making these into triads and spice up the actual chord progression. It should look like this. As you can hear and see, by using the triadic approach, you can hear it sounds much more rich and deeper, as well as sounds more like a guitar part. This, of course, was just a little introduction of triads, but you can do a lot more with them when you get more fluent on how to use them. And after a while, you'll be able to play more of a story with these triads than just being able to play the open position chords. So if you found this video helpful, please give us a like and a subscribe, and comment your thoughts in the comment section, as it really helps out the algorithm. And keep playing with those triads, and I'll see you in the next video.